Hi everyone, so today I want to try out this Autoship from Diamond Press. I recently hauled it, but now we're going to try it out. It is the fall one. I don't know if they're calling it autumn or fall or what they're calling it. I forgot. But harvest, maybe that's what they're calling it. Harvest, let's say. Again, this is an Autoship, so generally what happens with the first iteration, you get on the Autoship and then you receive your Autoships every couple months. So it's not available quite yet on its own. I know there are some other iterations, so I did pick this up on HSN, initially, and it is one of the Autoships, and I think it's the last one. I want to realize when I went to say it was an unboxing of this kit in my last video, there was supposed to be a Christmas one, but then they front-loaded the Christmas one, if you remember. It went out early for some reason. That was the first Autoship, which really was supposed to be the last one. And so we already have it. So, yeah, I think this is the last one. But I'll try and link those other ones if you're interested in the main kit. And sometimes that main kit goes on clearance or on sale for like $20 some odd. Sometimes it's 30 something. Sometimes it goes back to 62. I don't know. But I will link it, and those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through those links. And I'll link it with the YouTube links, I suppose. With HSN and YouTube, so a lot of times they'll be in the video here or definitely down in the description box. And I think I'm just going to stamp one of these images and sentiment and pop it on a card. So don't need to grab a card base quite yet, but I am going to use this piece. Ooh, you know what? So this side has a little graininess to it, texture, and this side's a little more flat. I think I'm going to use this side, guys. This is 5x7 paper. I don't know what I was going to measure it now. I did measure it anyway. I think 5x7. Let's see, 5.5. I'm trying to think what I want to do, because I do want to put this in the corner. And then the sentiments are kind of big. Maybe we make some really chunky matte layers. I haven't done that in a long time. So let's do that. I'm going to trim this down. It's already 5. So instead of being A2 like 5.5, 4 1/4, 5.5, it's a 5. So that means the 4 1/4 side has to be 3 3/4. Just kind of tight, but that's okay. And then I'll do a chunky matte layer behind it. What I mean by chunky is like a 1/4 inch, which is what I used to do all the time, but really don't do that anymore. Let's see. I'm gonna use this pumpkin one because I figured it'd be really easy. I will say, I'm jumping right into. Ooh, look at that! Oh my gosh. That fits right there perfectly. Let's back up a second and swatch these, right? We love to swatch these guys. So we know, I was just going to say there's no orange color. Well, there's yellow ochre, and that's about it. So you're going to want to use your initial kit, right? Which I always have here because I always dig in here when I need something. I also have these paint sticks in here, but the original kit's going to have obviously more colors that we can pull from. So there's our orange, which is just orange. Again, you can lighten. Yeah, you can lighten some colors. You can make them darker or deeper, adding a little brown or, all these fun color theory things you want to think about. I'm not great at that, but I do know how to do a little something. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy. Ooh, I put it away, kind of messed up. Do you see that? I closed it on the bristle. Okay, well, hopefully that won't cause us too much trouble. So I'm just going to get a little of this. And I like to get it darker and then kind of lighten it out as I go so you can kind of see what the wash might look like of that. I had a towel. There it is. Looks like I know I just had a paper towel. So I'm going to squeeze that off. Next color. Again, dark. And somebody had asked me before that they get a lot of the color in the barrel. So when I squeeze this, I'm squeezing it. I'm not sucking it back up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, give it a squeeze. Get that water going. I'm not squeezing it right now. And then when I use it, if I need to squeeze water, that's fine. But it shouldn't suck color back up. I don't know if you're kind of squeezing and sucking, letting it go and do whatever here. Right now, I would just squeeze it, get the water going, and then dip it into the color. That is so pretty. Look at that Viridian. Okay, let me finish these guys up. So what I'm going to do is come back and talk a little bit about the glitters, okay? So I'll be right back. Guys, I think this is the best set. I just, look at that indigo blue. And then the shimmers. Sorry, I don't know if it's showing. But the dark gold shimmer and then that sage one. But this right here, this one, the Viridian, oh my gosh. The light brown is almost orangey, guys. So maybe I do use that for my pumpkins, huh? Maybe I mix a little of that with the orange over here. I don't know. But okay, these guys, I just did my nails, so it is very hard and scratchy. So you really need to saturate this with a lot of water. And honestly, if you can take a tool and kind of break up the top. I had a feeling there's some kind of coating on this because it's very hard, sorry about that noise, to get through initially, and then it's fine. So a lot of water, really, really crunch that up, and then now you can see it's like molten. There, look at that. Okay, so then you can apply it. Now it must have some kind of, oh, I feel bad to get rid of that, but what's the word? Not sealer, but yeah, something that keeps it down because it's not just going to fall off. At least when I've used it, it hasn't just fallen off. I will say there's also a shimmer pen that comes in this kit. For the life of me, I can't find it, guys. I might have taken it out to the RV and I haven't brought everything back in since the craft day or something because I don't have it. I don't see it. It's a nice... Oh, there... See, I knew it. I was like, watch, once I start working, I'm going to find it. Okay, cool. Well, here it is. So it also comes with this guy. And this guy is like a chameleon kind of thing. It has its own fancy little holder here. What you're going to do is open that up, take that off. You can give it a little zhuzh. You see how the mica or pigments are just kind of in there. You want to get that going. You don't really want to shake it too much. And then just do that and it pierces through. And then you get it going. So basically give it a squeeze. You'll see the liquid kind of coming into here. There it is. I can see it already came out. I didn't really mess with this too much. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see the shimmer. I don't normally put it on here, but maybe I'll put it here. I don't know. Maybe you can see a little bit. I can see it in real life. It's hard for you to see, I'm sure. As soon as I place it on here, I can see it. I want to see what kind of shimmer it gives. It might be... Ooh, I don't like doing this, but oh well. Ooh! There you go. And it's different even from the shimmers that initially came here. So it has like a pinky purple kind of shimmer to it. I did not want to put this on here. That's going to bother me. This is just like extra, but I did want to show you guys what that looked like. Okay, let me get the other rose gold going and I'll be back. Okay, so there you go. Is rose gold glitter and brown glitter is what they're calling it. Although it's kind of goldish brown. All right, let's get this up. I don't know. I guess my neighbor's starting to blow some leaves around. It's so funny because we don't really have leaves. People are here. We have palm trees. And that's about it. So maybe it's just dust. I don't know. Either way, he's doing it right now. So if you hear that, that's what that is. Let me get a larger... I was going to use my little stamp positioner from the stamp kit, but it needs to be bigger. And I got stuff all over. What is happening? Oh, yeah. You remember it was on here? Now I'm spraying this all over the place. Yay! There we go. All right. When you stamp, unless you want the image to bleed, and sometimes you do, right? Like an artistic thing, you want that to happen. You're going to want to use a pigment ink or not water-soluble ink. So I'm just going to stamp this down in here. Now I have some brown memento ink I can use. I know that. I think I'm just going to use some VersaFine. And this stuff takes forever to dry. So if you want to heat set it, you can definitely do that. And just going stark black is really, really stark for something like this, but I'm just so used to doing that. So I'll use this. And then we have the sentiment that I think I can pop on here also. I need to keep an eye on the time. Miranda has a new after school club she's doing. So she is really involved. She's so funny. She was very shy and her teachers were always like, she won't even look at me, you know, when they're doing assessments or things like that. And, you know, to work with that. And every year they were like, she's very shy. And oh, by the end of the year, she came out of her shell, these kinds of things. But now she is doing it. She's out there. She has a presentation tomorrow, has no problem with it. I'm like, okay, good. So she's trying to do ballet folklorico, which is very cute. It's a Mexican style dancing. And so we'll see. Okay, so we have that with heartfelt thanks. It doesn't quite fit. I mean, it will, but it's going to be in here. So that's what I was looking for. Just something wishing you a harvest of blessings. Oh, that's cute because of the pumpkins. Okay. Let's use that. And again, do I just do that And Stark Black, I kind of almost have to because I did black already here, huh? I mean, you can use a color ink, obviously, but to go to like brown, I just don't think I'm going to. So I'm just popping that on there, and we'll see how straight I did that. It looks pretty good. That's the top of the eye right there. Okay, not too bad. Let me get this going. I'll give the other part a time to dry anyway, a little time to dry. Oh, goodness. All right. What was I thinking about? I was going to share some other info with you guys. Yeah. So, I just saw, talking about auto ships, that I'm supposed to be getting. I think that's cute. I like the way it looks a little bit rough. I'm going to leave that. From the Dime Press, when the marquee came out, the auto ship is already processing. It hasn't shipped yet, but I'm like, yay, because auto ship #1, and you guys know it was going to be like these big dies that make like cute gift bag type things or gift boxes. Super excited to get that one. And then also processing right now, which will be interesting because they're supposed to do classes for it, is the Crafter's Companion, kind of like the Create at Home. I already forgot. Oh, Craftaganza is what they called it. Yeah. So I'm sorry this is so claustrophobic right here, but that's what I could do. I mean, I could have stuck it up a little bit higher and that would have been chopped off, but I think it's okay. Is processing. Actually, it says extended delivery, which is kind of a bummer because that means it's going to be late or whatever. But hopefully their classes for it, if they do it, will be a little bit later. Now you can definitely cut, stamp this again and cut around it like on a scrap piece of paper. So you make like a what's that called? I'll just do it real quick. All right, fine. Because I think it'll look cute. I just need to know what this is going to look like when it's... Okay. This is interesting. I'm just going to go for it, guys. This is weird, I know. Usually I would stamp this perfectly, but what I wanted to do is just stamp that right quick. Okay. We don't care about this. We're just using this as a little something. And what I'm going to do, I don't need to do that, but I'm going to cut right on the edge here. So yeah, hopefully that'll work out, and hopefully the classes won't be as crazy kind of hectic as they were last time. That was crazy stuff. And we'll have a good time. Had a good time last time too. It was just went way too fast. And I'm not generally a person that works super slow. Even when I make these videos, I feel like I'm going kind of slow because I want you guys to see everything, and people will say, I can barely keep up with you, and so they pause and that kind of stuff, which is fine. They're not complaining. They're just saying, that that's how it is. So check this out. I just want to cut the edge of that, and that way we'll add a little something more. And I'm just going to stamp this, and maybe I shouldn't, but oh well, I'm going to do it. Oopsie. Hold on. I have a landslide over here, guys. My, this thing slid off here. Okay. Let's get this inked up. Of course, I'm like, I gotta do this in a timely manner. Okay. Maybe here. Okay, I'm gonna be very careful with this. I'm going to make sure everything is touching before I remove it, or else all I did was mess up what I have going here. Really press where this drop off is from where your mask is, especially if I'm using kind of thick paper, because otherwise it leaves like a little gap. So I'm really pressing in that area. Ooh, look at that, guys. And I can keep this scrap with my kit, and if I want to do that again, I have the scrap already ready to go. My little mask, should I say. Clean that off. Okay. All right. So, again, that light brown looks very orange to me, so maybe we're just going to go in with it. I don't know. Let's see. It's this one. I'll keep this here if you guys want. So it's this guy. And I'm doing wet on dry. If you want to squirt the paper and have it wet, it's going to react a different way. So whatever's you want. I'm going to start in with like the darkest color at the top here and at the very bottom. So that when you lighten it, it looks like it's already putting in its shadows, right? So just all in here. It looks like maybe there's a leaf there. I don't know if that's a leaf, part of the leaf or part of the pumpkin. And just kind of bring that out. And then maybe, now I'm not going to dip anymore, but I'm squeezing the water a little bit just to kind of bring that color down. I'm not squeezing it too much. I mean, this is pretty humidified there. That is not great. Emergency vehicles down there. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. And it's a little bit soft, and I kind of like that. And we're going to rough up this paper in just a minute. What I mean is like add a little extra color around there so it's not just stark white. But again, a good amount there and a good amount here, and then just kind of pull it up so those colors meet. Let's see here. Nope, that's not enough. I missed some here. And I'll do essentially the same thing with this little guy. I mean, you can make him a different color. See how I left it kind of lighter in the middle because I figure that makes it look more round. And if you want to come back in and add a little more, you can definitely do that. Kind of soften it so it's not just a harsh line coming in. All right, I'll do this little guy the same way, and I will be right back. Okay, that's very soft. And then, okay, maybe for this stem, let's do it in brown. Oh, see, I was going to dip in brown, and I thought it's maroon because I had this up. Brown's down here. And again, just a little something. Okay, now I'll get some water going. I didn't want water. I'll start with here. The brown, just coming up through here. Not the biggest deal. That little water got sucked in. Okay, fine. Do we have different greens here? So we have the sage green. How about that for this, right? So the sage green shimmer. So just again in here and just kind of bringing that out. So those are going to be shimmery. I will say maybe you want to be careful to see how I just kind of went over the black lines with it. And then it covers them up. So maybe I'll go through and try to get that off a little bit. Clean it up. So you might want to be more careful with that shimmer because it will definitely color that. Okay, so I'll do the last 3 leaves and I'll be right back. Okay, and then we have an olive green, so maybe I'll use that for these guys. Get a little more color going. And same thing, I'll start down in here. Right, maybe I'll move on to the, oh, no, that was, see, now I'm going to mix some shimmer in, which is pretty. So there we go. I had mixed a little of that with this. Maybe I'll keep doing that. Just in this very center, and I'm going to wipe some off, and then I'm just going to spread that out. Just go back grabbing the color that's on here and bring it out towards the tips and leaving some white. That looks really nice. Just a style choice. And so I'll do that across these guys and down to the next one. Again, because this is watercolor paper, I can kind of keep working it, see how it wanted to stay really stiff, but I was like, no, let's blur that line, and now it's blurring. If this was just regular paper, it would start pilling and ripping up, and it wouldn't look great. Okay, I will be right back. All right, I'm pretty much done with that. So, if I want to, I'm looking at what colors. We have dark gold shimmer, the brown. Maybe I'll just go with this regular brown. Trying to get a lot of water on this, and to be honest, I can use like a, or even the inside of your lid. I just want to water this down a little bit before I really go in. If I went in, it would just be as dark, you know, so lighten that up and just get it down under here. Maybe that's a little too light. But just get some of that down in here and stop wherever you want, you know, maybe like there. Get some of that in here and just down around here. And it can just look like ground, or you can bring it up and just make it look like it's a shadowy kind of thing. It doesn't have to be the ground. But I think that's pretty good, no? Maybe that high? A little something. Maybe we'll go around these guys, add a little something. See, I didn't even do anything. I'm just kind of going in here just to give them a little something else. I don't know. A little more attention. Right? And you can even do a little shadow behind here and there if you want. Right, just to add a little something. Cute, I like that. Just a little more, kind of help your design have a little more definition. Okay, something like that. All right, I'm gonna let that dry and clean this out, and I will be right back. Okay guys, so there that guy is, and I don't even think it's that dry actually. I just started looking for paper, but I have an A2 size card base here, so 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Generally I go with the cream color, but since this is kind of white, little off-white, I'm just going to go with a white card base. And then I have this beautiful plaid cardstock, and I'm sorry it's not available on HSN. It's sold out, but I'm going to cut this down. Again, probably 1/4 inch smaller than this. So 4 by 5 1/4. I'll be right back. I will say as I'm cutting this, I kind of like to keep things even, and I can see if I cut this at 5 1/4, it's going to be a whole set of blocks that are like the light color, and then it kind of cuts off. Actually, well, yeah, it's interesting. It does cut off right at the end of an orange set, but I kind of want to keep it with that little creamy, the lighter color. So I'm going to bring this over just a little bit, so it's in the middle of that, and then cut this at 5 1/4, and hopefully I eyeballed that right. And if not, I'll bring out some more paper and do it again. Use this on something else. Yeah, there you go. So now it starts and ends with like the lighter set. Does that make sense? I don't know. Do things like that bother you at all? It would have been okay though, because I like the way it did end right on that plaid. But here we go. And again, this is what I used to do all the time, 1/4 inch layers. But now I just really like a nice 1/8 inch all around, you know. So anyway. Or I guess it's 1/16, right? Because I cut it at 4 1/8, 5 3/8. So that's a 1/16 of an inch all around. This is an 1/8 all around, excuse me, because that's why it leaves a 1/4 inch there. Anyhow, okay. There's something wrong with this card base. It's a little bit crooked. I'm going to have to straighten that out. And then this guy, let me hit this with a heat tool, which is going to warp it, but I'll be right back. Whenever I do this, I always put the heat on the back and on the front, okay? Because it helps. I think that's good enough. Let me see. Yeah, that's great. One other thing I was going to say. Oh, yeah, look at the shimmeriness of that shimmer. Hopefully you can see it. There we go. But again, that's why it covers up that black area. So if you wanted to, you can definitely come back in with something like this, like your little pigment pen, and probably get that reestablished. See, there you go. And maybe I will, just to clean it up a little bit. Just real quick, add this back over the top. It kind of wants to go away anyway because that shimmer really comes through. But maybe I can go in and do this. And a little something there, a little something there. Okay, that cleans it up a little bit. All right, let's get some good glue behind this. I'm going to put something heavy on top. And then I will be able to finish that off. Okay. Cute. And again, if you want to keep some of that plaid underneath, you could have gutted it, you know, to have for something else. A lot of it is getting covered up. I don't want to run my hands over the top of that just because of that fresh ink I just did. So I'm going to put that there and put something heavy on top. And I'll come back in just a bit and we'll take a look. Okay, sorry guys, I had to go pick up my daughter, so I just want to show you the card, wrapping it up here, and it just came out so nice. I love the way that little accent of that brown kind of background just made everything pop. And so thanks for watching, guys. I'll have images coming up. I'll have links as appropriate in the description box, possibly embedded in the video. Bye now.